everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski. You can call me Grizzer. And this is where we get you caught up on some of the latest news and tidbits that are tied to our favorite team in the NFL. That is the Cleveland Browns. Thank you to everyone who has liked our previous episodes, to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We keep clawing our way to 10,000 subscribers. When we get there, we will change the fit for just one day. Also, thank you to everybody who has become a member of the Browns' latest dog pound. Browns' latest dog pound. One more time. Browns' latest dog pound. Third time's a charm. Thank you to everybody and all of you who get your comments down in the viewer comment section. One of these times, this ball is going to do what I think it's going to do when it's supposed to do it. Stay tuned. Now, coming up on today's show, is the new stadium the reason we're so bad on offense right now and still have the coach that's in charge of it? I have even more proof today for you that Deshaun Watson will never, ever play for the Cleveland Browns ever again. This game on Sunday could put a bullet in at least one coaching tenure. And I got some stats for you that you need to see, because if we can't get it going on offense this week, oy vey. But that's coming up. And then in the viewer comments, a Shedeur Sanders impersonator walking around Pittsburgh tells you everything you need to know about how Browns fans feel about 12. We'll get to all of it. But first things first, the unofficial depth chart was released. It's Dillon and Shedeur, 1 and 2 again at quarterback. But also the big news that came out in the last 24 hours or so, I mean, this was the worst kept secret in both Brook Park and Cleveland. The Browns are moving to Brook Park. They finally got a deal. They're going to tear down the old stadium now. Well, we call it the old stadium now, the one they're playing in. They're going to redevelop the lakefront. That's something I've been hearing for, 50 years. So they're finally going to do it, but they're going to move the stadium out of the way and everything. And then this is where we'll be watching the Cleveland Brownies in 2029. But it got me thinking, are we just in a, does Haslam and Barry, has he told these guys don't even worry about winning until we get to the new stadium? Is that why we're so bad on offense? Is that why we can't score points, and why Stefanski's been around for so long, even though we've been so bad? Could this be part of the reason? Could it be that, hey, we're going to set everything up for the new stadium, so we'll get a bunch of draft picks and we'll get all these young guys in there and they'll be in their prime when we hit the new stadium in 2029? Could this be? I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Because then it got me wondering, I go, well, then how come the defense is so good? But then I thought, well, Jim Schwartz wants to be a head coach again. So, of course, the defense is going to be good because he cares. But the offense is terrible. I don't know. Got me wondering, could this be the reason? And I'll tell you what, I'm not the only one wondering. Look at what Joe Hayden said. He was on the whole Honor the Land show on something called Big Play. But he called out Stefanski and compared him to Mike Tomlin. He said if Coach Tomlin were coaching the Browns, they would not ever be in this situation. He would keep them at least 500 every season, because it's the voice, it's the leader, it's the man that's coming in. And here's what I'll say about that. He played for both. Hayden, I called him the Cape when he was here, because he was always hanging on the back of a receiver who was running down the field with the football, who just smoked him. But I digress. But he went to Pittsburgh and lasted a lot longer than I thought he was going to do. I will tell you, though, he's a super nice guy. I got the chance to talk to him a couple times, and super, super awesome. Answered all he answered all the questions, and he said Jamar Chase was the toughest guy to cover, because he had to cover him in college too, because Hayden went to Florida and Chase went to LSU. So anyway, we had some cool conversations with Joe Hayden, but we still love him here in Cleveland, and I think I love him even more because he says this. It's like, why do we put up with this losing? Is it because we're waiting for the new stadium? That's what I ask. The Steelers have never had a losing season under Mike Tomlin as head coach. That's what I'm saying, folks. They're so respected because of that. In Baltimore, like they win all the time. Like, you don't have to win it all the time. Just, like look at our Cleveland Guardians. Look at our Cleveland Guardians. They're always in the mix. They always have a winning record. They don't win it all. They get there sometimes, but we love them because they're respected. They're always on the map. And so, I don't know, man. I hope I'm wrong about that one, but I was, I don't know, it just got me thinking when the new stadium is going to be built, even though that's the worst kept secret that has been out since, who knows, I don't know, the last year or two. But we've been telling you about that anyway. Well, anyway, that's, maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. Now, one thing I know I'm right about is Deshaun Watson. Never, ever playing for the Cleveland Browns ever again. I've only been telling you this for as long as this show has existed. Now, why do I say that now? Why is this coming up? Well, it's because nobody listens to me. The only people listen to are Adam Schefter and even Ian Rappaport. When they come out 5 months after something I said, they say it, and now all of a sudden people care. So Deshaun, now this is I'll give Schefter a little different because he has an update on Watson. And here's what he said. He said that he's a good month away from being cleared for any football activity. There has been conversation about whether he'll play again. And so now, remember, he's putting up, Deshaun Watson is posting his videos on social media, his what I like to call Uncle Rico videos of him. Here, I'll show you. He's got his football, and he's dropping back like Uncle Rico. I'll bet you I could throw this football over that mountain. He's dropping back and running around like Uncle Rico. But here's the thing. Now, remember, Adam Schefter says he's a good month away from being clear for football activity. Now, here's what's critical about that. Teams have 9 weeks to open the practice window on a player who's on the pup. 4 weeks from practicing is Deshaun Watson. Now do the math. This is week 7. That puts any potential return for Deshaun Watson this year at week 11, which means the window has already closed. And here's the other thing that is here's the huge factor in all of this, and the reason why he's definitely not playing this year. He's never playing for us again. Here's why. The Browns can recoup the cap losses charged to Watson in 2025 back onto their 2026 cap. This would be a massive salary move for the team next season. All they want back is their money. They don't want Deshaun back, just the money. I've been telling you that for as long as we've been together, and there is more proof. You don't think that they knew that his window wouldn't fit into the actual window? Come on now. He's never playing for the Browns again. All they want is their money back, and like I said, they're hoping he screws something up on his end so they can get it all back next year too. So the good news in all that is, well, we'll have that cap space, so that'll be nice. So now, one thing that when you go and look at Miami and Cleveland, these are like two teams in very similar situations. You have little quarterbacks who are lefty. Now, Tua's been around for a little longer, but you got Tua and Tua 2.0, right? You got coaches. Well, they both should be on the hot seat, but one is on the hot seat. The other one, ours, I don't know. You can go 4-22 and somehow still hold on to your job, have the worst offense in existence for the last, I don't know how many years, and still hold on to your job. But I digress. A lot of similarities. The other similarity is this game should get one of them fired. And in my opinion, it should get both of them fired if depending on how it goes. I want to show you something. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. If you're not the Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator and play caller and you don't look at this and start drooling, then you have a problem. Because Miami, this is rush defense. This is opponent. This is how well Miami stops their opponents running the ball. Yeah, no, they're dead last in the league by a mile. Almost 169 yards a game. And look at the last three. The stat next to just to the right, those are the last three games. 192 yards rushing they have given up the last three games. That's the average. Oh, boy. Remember what I kept saying about Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson having 20 carries each game? If they don't each have 20 carries this game, if we cannot run the ball down Miami's throat this week, Stefanski's got to go. Because here's the way I see it. Okay, Miami loses, McDaniels is probably getting fired. All right? But Browns win, barely win. Offense looks terrible. We don't run the ball. We can't run the ball. Let's say they win, 9-6 or 9-3, right? The Browns. I think Stefanski should get fired too because we still have a massive problem with our offense. Both should be gone. So that these teams, and then even the way they've gotten here is very something. Now we've been stuck in it since 1999, but Miami's been stuck in it since 2023. But they had a good year in 2023, and then they had to pay people, and and they made some bad draft picks, and that's why they're at where they're at. If it wasn't for Devon Achane, that guy's a monster, by the way. But hopefully we hold everybody down pretty well. Steelers sort of. But if it wasn't for him, all of their draft picks would be disasters. The other thing with Miami is they got a bunch of guys hurt too. Their kicker's hurt, which for whatever. But they got starting guard, that an offensive tackle that's out. Their center's out. They're all on injured reserve and not coming back this week. They've already said they will not be back this week. So they're dealing with backups and things too. So, but a lot of similarities between these two teams, including the record. And so, but my goodness, if we can't run the ball on these guys, if we throw the ball more than 20 times against these guys, that's a travesty. It really is. Because we should just run. They've given up almost 200 yards a game the last 3 games. Run the ball, Kevin. Run the ball. Now, one thing we never run from, we always run to, are the viewer comments. And today we'll start with Mr. Brownie God, 2580, who says, what did you think of Shiloh dressing up as his brother and interacting with fans before the Pittsburgh game? I like the lightness it brought to the organization that the Browns need right now. What are my thoughts? I 100% agree. It was fun. I don't know if you saw it here. Here's a picture from Jordan Schultz's X account. Got a picture. There's some video of Shiloh dressed as his brother walking around before the Pittsburgh game. Now, I will say this. I don't know why, if you're a fan, you think Shedeur would be walking around in his uniform outside and walking the street to Pittsburgh before the game in his uniform. But I love you. I love you still. But the showering of love and the encouraging words and all of that were coming out of Browns fans and Steelers fans alike, that tells you everything you need to know about how the Browns fans feel about Shedeur. I do see in the comments sometimes people say, oh, the Browns fans don't care about Shedeur. Browns don't care about Shedeur. 100% care about Shedeur. Cannot wait to see him play. Cannot wait for him to electrify this offense. But it's got to happen after Stefanski's gone in order for us to get a true sense of what we have here. So I would be nervous, folks. I'm just telling you, man. this offense with Stefanski is not good. But I just thought that this is great, Shiloh out there. Because, like, I have brothers and we bust our ball, we bust each other's chops all the time, man. That's all we're doing, And so to see this, but it's nice. But to me, the underlying story is what the reception that he got when they thought he was Shedeur, and the encouraging words and everybody was so positive when they saw him. And that is what we love him here in Cleveland, but that was a great take, Mr. Brownie God 2580. Now, at TJ Kirby 5016 says, have you mentioned Dillon Gabriel trying to rip the helmet off a queen of the Steelers yet? I haven't had much commentary on that. If it were another player, need not to mention, the internet would have been on fire. He said, Shiloh got cut and fined for less than this. Shake my head. I was surprised he did not get flagged on that. And I know he was frustrated or whatever, but to me, it's like, you can't do that, man. You just can't. Like, this offense is scrapping and scraping for every yard. Just like Judy. Judy got that flag. Same thing. They bait you and you take the bait. We are in no position to be taking the bait. And I don't care if you're a rookie or a veteran. I mean, remember, I want to start using this term rookie loosely with Dillon Gabriel, because all we've heard is he played 64 games in college. He played so many games in college. I mean, 6 years. So he is not your typical rookie. If that's what you're telling me, right? If he's played so many games in college and he has all this experience. See, that's why part of the reason I thought he would handle the Pittsburgh crowd so better than most rookies is because, I mean, when you play 6 years of college, you've probably been in some hostile environments, especially playing at Oregon, right? I mean, you go into some places that are not so friendly and are tough to play. And I will say Oregon, to me, in college football, Oregon is one of the toughest places to play. And in my book, it's in my top 3. So he knows what that's all about. So he's got the experience. And so with that experience should come way better decisions. And that was brutal. But you're right. If Shedeur had done something like that, oh boy, the internet would have broken for sure. There's no doubt in my mind. But it's barely talked about with Dillon, And I say, like, this team is so undisciplined right now. It goes back to the head coach. It all goes back to the head coach. And you see Tomlin's team, he's the one, they're the bullies, man. They're the bullies. We got a guy who wouldn't know the first thing about coaching players to be bullies like that. We just don't. Great take at TJ Kirby. Okay. Cora Nurse, 2467. You said it right about this coach. Thank you very much. At Dogman, 615. Dude, I live in Nashville. The Titans are as big as a dumpster fire as the Browns, if not bigger. Yeah, they got problems, but at least you got Cam Ward. It's halfway interesting to watch. Your problem is, like, your running game is they need other pieces. They're still building, but at least Cam can, learn and grow. And you know what you got. They fired the coach. They're going to bring somebody in. Cam shot across the bow this week, said, you just haven't seen it, what I can do. So maybe he told somebody that he was being held back by Callahan. I don't know. What I'm hoping is that Callahan's old man wants to come back to us. I hope Bill comes back to us to coach our offensive line, because we were pretty good when we had him. So that's the other thing that should happen. We got to get him back here if possible. But the Titans, at least, there's some hope there. I think there's some hope there. Keith Greer, 462, says, lifelong Browns fan who lives here in Miami, there is no way Gabriel is beating Tua, and Tua sucks too. All right, Keith Greer, you're on the record. I just don't see how we can't beat Miami. I mean, you kidding me? All we got to do is run the ball. That's it. And we got 2 stud running backs. One we use and one we kind of used last week. 3 carries. If we don't run the ball down their throats, it will be a travesty beyond travesties. Now, I'm just going to go with the letters here, because it might mean something, but it's AYYIC says, Stefanski versus McDaniels. Who will get fired first? Like I said, if Miami loses, McDaniels is out. There's no doubt. But if Miami loses by like a score of 6-3, they both should be gone. The wait should be over with Stefanski and this offense. If you have to win on a last-second field goal against Miami on Sunday, Holy Schmidt kicks one through, we still have massive problems. And something's got to give. Something's got to change. And we'll end on T Monty 007. T Monty 007, who says, thanks for the shout out with the ICU balls. Remember yesterday I mentioned the ICU balls, but I didn't mention T Monty, so I have to come back and mention T Monty. So he says Dillon Gabriel those ICU balls. Some other people call them hospital balls, where you extend your receiver and then they get popped and they end up in the hospital. So, but T Monty, you're very, very welcome. All right. We've turned the corner. Remember, I always ramp up as the week goes on. Well, it's always darkest on Monday. Tuesday, we start to work out of it. Wednesday, we turn the corner, and we got to look forward because this is a game we can win, and we can still pass. I'm going to say it again. We still have like a 2% chance to make the playoffs. So we can still salvage this season if we can get this offense going and then get the defense back bought in. So let's go. All right, finally. Go Browns! We'll see you next time.